guys, Ken Scott, back with another video, but regarding one of the topics on our website. Now, this video is basically about what happens when you admit to weed smoking or marijuana use to CBP at the port of entry, otherwise known as the border. We touched upon this the other day now, so let's see, we'll find that page. Okay, you guys probably can't see that from where you're sitting, but what it says right there, admitting to drug use to CBP. So what that means is when you're at the port of entry, which is the border, and you go down there, let's just say I pull to the booth, and for whatever reason, the officer decides to send me into secondary. Maybe I'm wearing a jacket that has weed leaf on it, 420 or whatever. Whatever the reason, I get sent to secondary. The officer does his investigation / checks. Maybe he says to me in the booth, "Oh, I smell marijuana," which is a catch-all, which is basic bullshit. So either way, I go inside. They do their grilling, their investigation. They have to get me to admit to, and once I admit to that, I am not inadmissible. It's not just that, it's rails, it's shrooms, it's dillies, it's whatever drug that's listed illegally under U.S. federal law. So if it's listed illegally under U.S. federal law, you are inadmissible to the United States. Now, guys, when you're inadmissible for drug use or admitting to drug use to CBP, it does not matter that weed is legal here in Canada. That's irrelevant. Even if you took a toke over in the Netherlands, it's still irrelevant. Because U.S. federal law states that marijuana and those other drugs I mentioned are still illegal under U.S. federal law. So by you using it, even in the Netherlands or even in Surrey, you just decided to, you are inadmissible under U.S. federal law, inadmissible to the United States. So now, obviously, the officer's not going to know that last night you took a toke. But the minute you say, well, yeah, I smoked last night, I smoked last year, I smoked 15 years ago. The minute you say, yes, I took a toke, you have just talked yourself into being inadmissible. And it's not just temporary, it's for life. So if you say, well, yeah, I don't know, 44 now, but I did shrooms when I was 22, you are banned for the rest of your life because you did those shrooms. So at the risk of sounding like a parrot, anytime you admit to illegal drug use to CBP, doesn't matter if it's legal in your country, but illegal under U.S. federal law, you've just deemed yourself to be inadmissible to the United States. And guys, don't come at me and say, oh, it's legal in half the states, it's legal in Washington State. It doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter, in simple terms, this right here is the emperor. This right here is, let's say, the governor of like a small village or whatever, or even state. This is the governor, this is the emperor. The emperor's up here, the governor's down here. Whatever he says is federal law overrides what he says. So if he says you can smoke marijuana in his state, that's fine with what he says, but he says you cannot. So if he says you cannot, you cannot. So that's why that's the simple way of explaining like federal law and state law. Federal law is up here, state law is down here. These guys in the end call the shots. Okay, so you guys need to really get that through your heads, because the fact that just because Washington State has legalized marijuana means nothing. It means that the Washington State law enforcement officials likely will not hassle you. But if a Fed walks by and sees you, theoretically, they can hassle you. Good example is, let's just say you're downtown Seattle and you're from Surrey. Seattle PD, they drive by. They might even wave to say, hey, whatever, they're going. Or let's say they walk by. He says, okay, all right, sir, have a nice day. All right, you say, okay, cool. Now, the DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, which is a federal agency, walks by and says, hey, why are you smoking that marijuana? Like, what do you mean? Hey, put that out. You say, well, it's legal. No, it's not, sir. It's still illegal federally. Put it out right now. You've got to put it out. And if you don't, then you're going to have other issues. And the minute that DEA official finds out you're Canadian, you're not a U.S. citizen, you've got other problems now. So stop telling us that it's legal in the USA where it's not illegal. It's not legal in the United States. It's legal as per state law, not federal law. You guys wouldn't believe how many times we hear that every day. Say it's legal. No, it's not legal. The guys, they don't understand state and federal. State is the small jurisdiction. Federal is federal. Federal overrides state. That's the simple way of explaining it. So anyway, CBP officers work for the federal government. For lack of better words, they work for Joe Biden. So the minute you tell one of those officers at CBP that you are now inadmissible under U.S. federal law. And I know, guys, I sound a bit like a parrot, but some of you guys don't seem to get this. I think maybe you guys have been knowing too much of this yourselves, and your brain cells get a bit scrambled. So anyway, Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with www.entryWaiverServices.com. And it's 888-908-3841. And have a good day. Why you should be denied entry to that country. So, if you're denied entry to the United States for criminality, maybe, at a bar fight, or maybe you were accused of, I don't know, it's okay. You didn't do it. This is what you want to do. You may need a U.S. entry waiver. You may, or you may not. If you do, you want to use sendittoken.com. Sendittoken.com. And once you use sendittoken.com, we can get you cleared to enter the United States. Does not matter what your conviction is, whether it's for or
nothing is impossible.
Why? Because we're there. You need us.
Sendittoken.com. I gotta tell you, folks, wait till Hulk Hogan comes out here. The roof is gonna come off the Bell Center here in Montreal. As the anticipation builds, you can feel it. The legendary Hulk Hogan is a heartbeat away